rolling, right? Okay.
Okay.
Cool.
Cool guy, number 1.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to have a different blanket for each episode, right?
Yeah, man.
Oh, really?
It's up to you.
Can we buy all of them?
It's up to you. Get all the blankets you need, dude.
Remember when I bought 2 and you were like, that's too much? And you used it?
It's not the number of blankets, it's the size. You have a blanket that's the size of like half our condo. It's so annoying to like deal with that
You
thing.
used that last time.
You got COVID or no, huh? No, you... Jeez, bro.
No, I don't. I needed one of those like cliche pictures where I went like this with like them doing the vaccine. I've seen people's videos.
That?
No, I've seen people's videos where they're like getting the vaccine and then they're like, I didn't even feel it, but this is their face. They're like,
Was the second dose like more?
no, it's the same thing.
Is it? Okay. Because I don't know why I felt like I think the first lady maybe just was like on me. And then the second one, I think she did slower. So I thought it was like...
More painful?
No, I thought it was like larger.
No.
Like a larger dose.
No, it's the same dose. That's why like they don't have separate vials for like the first dose and the second dose. I don't want to talk about COVID.
Yeah,
I've been talking about COVID for a year, more than a year.
Yeah.
But Cam are we rolling?
So guys, welcome to welcome to episode 2 of F1 My Life with Cam and Priya, or Priya and Cam.
So Cam forgot to hit the record button. We were talking to
ourselves. No, I didn't. No.
For 20 minutes.
Nope. No.
But we went into a very lengthy discussion about how it should be Priya and Cam.
So this is episode 2 of the podcast, and thanks for everybody who's been listening and been commenting, and I've been getting a lot of messages from people and friends and whatever.
Nobody messages
There's
me.
people and friends, yeah, friends and family, I guess, who have like watched it and are like, oh my god, this is like so interesting. So it's like really cool that everyone's kind of like tuning in, even though you might not be an F1 fan, but at
or
least
you may not want to know this much about us.
Or you get to hang out with us during COVID times in our house.
We're not gonna stop after COVID.
What's going on with you, my lover?
I'm excited.
Yeah.
It was a long 3 weeks.
Yeah,
The last couple of weeks have been crazy.
This was a pretty big layoff from races.
And
I think it's one of the longest.
Yeah, it felt longer.
Few-week layoff.
It
was annoying.
I kept
like
sending you memes though,
Yeah.
which I think were really funny. It's like how long it feels when like the first race comes after a couple of months and then 3 weeks you have to wait. And they're like so dramatic. They're like, no.
The F1 memes are hilarious. But I mean, I don't know if did we watch UFC fights between? I can't remember.
We did. We watched, it was the weekend.
Francis. We watched the Francis fight.
Ngannou.
Yeah, when it's like weeks, at least there was UFC to watch. But like when there's like nothing on the weekends, it kind of sucks, I find. Yeah. I mean, like it's whatever, but it's always fun to have like either F1 or UFC to watch.
Well, I thought that we were going to miss last week because I thought Imola was not this weekend, but the weekend before, and Cam was really busy working.
Yeah.
So I got all like panicked on Friday. I was like, okay, before you shoot, we got to like do our like podcast. And he was like, no.
Every now and then it's like we have something that comes up that's on a race weekend and we're like strategically trying to figure out, oh, look at that. Haas is off again. We'll get into that. We're strategically trying to figure out like how to watch F1
so funny story.
while we're
humans.
While we're out doing like normal stuff,
living responsible lives.
Yeah, doing normal human being stuff. So it's like
last time there was a race, we actually had a family commitment, and it was pretty funny because we were so extra. I think some people thought that we were a little bit crazy, because they would try to text us about the race, and we were on our way, we were driving.
Yeah.
We had a very long drive ahead of us, or we had like a 2.5 hour drive, which isn't that long, but we had a 2.5 hour drive, and we kept getting group messages from like friends or family that were watching.
Y'all know who you are.
Don't do it again this weekend, except this will go up later. But we love you. But it was like hilarious because I was being so blunt. I was like, no, seriously, don't text us. to the point where I think that some people think that we're crazy, but that's okay.
Yeah. So long story short is we weren't able to watch the race, so we missed it, and then we stayed off of social media until we watched it, which was the whole duration of the Sunday essentially.
Yeah.
But that's tricky because you can't scroll through your Instagram, you can't scroll through Facebook, you can't pretty much open any
I think
messages.
this is just like a lot more for you.
If your friends, yeah, but I mean, I don't want to open it up and be like, oh, Verstappen won the race.
Yeah.
And then I'm just like, cool. What's the point?
Somebody texted.
Like, why don't I just like not watch it?
Somebody texted like, "Oh my god, I can't believe it! Is Max Verstappen gonna
win,
yeah, or is he gonna like continue it or whatever?"
Yeah.
And like Cam was driving, and I was just like, "Oh my god."
Yeah, I was like, no, I can't like, yeah.
And he was like, just tell everybody that like we're not watching. It's easier for me. I'm not really on Instagram. I don't have a Facebook or a Twitter or anything like that. But it is hard to stay off of your phone. So anyways, it was fine though. But yeah, Bahrain took place last race.
Yeah.
So like, I guess we'll recap. There's 10 teams. And like I said, I really only think that there were 5 drivers worth really talking about.
All right, let's start from the bottom then. I guess let's start with number 5 then.
Or
5
the
teams. Yeah, or 5 teams or whichever way you want to go.
I mean, well, like let's just take the teams. Like Haas messed up, which is not unexpected.
Mazepin didn't make it out of the first lap, and Schumacher was very like shortly after he was out as well.
No, he
wasn't. Not really shortly after, but like he was.
No, he finished.
Yeah, he finished. Sorry, but I'm sorry. I'm thinking about like just spinning out. So Mazepin spun out in the first lap, and then Schumacher spun out as well. So something's going on with Haas. I don't know if it's like a new driver thing or maybe the cars are having grip issues. Maybe both. I mean, the cars are apparently tricky to drive, like what they've been saying. Like they're not the easiest cars to drive.
I love the memes of how long Mazepin's actual first F1 race lasted compared to like pit stops or like, I don't even know. There were some really funny ones. I'll be honest with you. They were hilarious.
Yeah, he wasn't out there that long.
No, he was out there less than half a lap.
So Haas is doing what they do.
But I do think that we can expect to see better things from Mick. I just don't know if Haas is going to... I honestly, like, the future of Haas is uncertain.
But you're not going to see any... It's like Mick's not going to... It's Haas, right? They're like a pretty like midfield team. Like, you're not going to see him live up to any kind of potential.
Are we going to talk about the midfield again?
In a Haas car.
There's no midfield.
No, there's clearly
there's
still is.
There's certainly a long
There's always
midfield.
going to be.
There is Hamilton,
And
midfield, Haas, Russell.
Williams, yeah.
Yeah, Williams, sorry. Shouldn't bunch out the
We'll
TP.
see if that changes, so we'll talk about that too.
Yeah.
Yeah, Haas was doing
Whatever.
Haas things.
Aston Martin was a disappointment on so many different levels. Vettel, understandably, didn't have a great practice like before Bahrain. He didn't get a lot in, but he spun out. He hit Ocon. He had damage. I don't know. Wow, Gasly just put up a time. It's like, okay, and I forget about Stroll sometimes. Like when he's not on his game, like I just forget about him. But he got 10th. I mean, he got a point.
Yeah.
Alpine was a disappointment.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, with a lot of those teams, it's like you gotta like they gotta do what they gotta do. You know, like they gotta develop during the year and hopefully figure something out. But yeah, I don't know. Like
I expected more.
Vettel was I don't know, because I thought the car was pretty much there. Maybe the car's not there, you know, where it needs to be. But Vettel's like, he's obviously a talented dude, you know, like he knows how to drive. But whatever happened, and I don't know. We'll see what he does in the next race, really. Right?
Yeah, I mean, with Alpine, I mean, Ocon doesn't come to mind. Like, I don't think about him. He did whatever.
Yeah.
But Alonso, like, was a huge letdown, unfortunately. Like, he didn't really finish. He didn't make it to the end, which I'm not sure what exactly happened with that, and maybe I could kind of look into that more. But
Alonso's an interesting character, you know? It's like a veteran driver coming back to F1, coming to like a midfield team. I think like the Cinderella story is he comes back and like smashes everything and does amazing, but it's like it might just be like, you know, midfield all the way through for him, you know, like
or
you
just
know.
DNFing. We had 4 people who DNF'd the
Yeah.
last race. It was Alonso, Mazepin, Pierre. I can't remember the last person who didn't finish. I know it wasn't Russell. But yeah, it was like really unfortunate to say the least. And I mean, like I said, I think that they were just like a bit of a disappointment.
Yeah.
But on to McLaren.
Yeah, what do you think of McLaren?
You know, I'm like, Lando Norris. You know, I got like a mad respect for him.
Ja boy.
He's like my little like brother.
boy.
I feel like I'm like proud every time he races well. And he was 4th. Like he finished 4th in Bahrain, and that wasn't.
Feel like a proud parent.
I'm a proud mama. I'm a proud mama. That's my son right there, Norris.
All right, but he's not though, you know. So.
You know, and he's looking all nice now. Skin's clearing up nicely. He's becoming a nice young man.
That's hilarious.
Daniel,
Skin's clearing up.
wasn't he the one that like he got like a call from like
Oh
the
no.
royal family or something
Did he?
when he was like first starting out?
He might have. Who knows?
It was during like the post race checks or something. They were like, "Oh, you got."
I mean, what else does a royal family do? Yeah. You know what I mean? Might as well call F1 drivers and congratulate them.
I don't know why. I don't know what relation or what it was. It was something. He races for England, right?
He's British, yeah.
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 It'd be nice to.
But
hear
I'm just
that
saying,
English.
like, what else is a royal family gonna do besides call people?
You're
up
gonna
and
get
chat with
added
them?
so much for that.
What do you
I
mean?
wouldn't do that.
I don't think anyone would disagree. I don't think anyone would disagree with
My
me.
mom watches this. She'll be like, "No,
It's not untrue.
no, Pota, they do everything."
Tell me, you know, I'm not gonna go into that, but it's not
Well,
exactly
I mean,
untrue.
okay. Then respect
But yeah,
for
yeah,
this
yeah.
week because
Good for him
you know,
if they called him and talked to
Prince
him.
Philip passed away, and that is going to be a moment of silence on Sunday.
Yeah. Pour one out for him. Yeah.
So pour one out for him,
That's what you say, man. You pour one out for the homies, right?
like on the ground.
Yeah. You never heard that?
No,
You never heard
are you
that?
making it up?
No, it's real.
Like what? Like Joe?
Like a drink. I mean, like we don't
Like an
drink.
alcoholic beverage?
Yeah, but when
like on the floor?
Yeah. Yeah. You never heard that?
Like over their
Pour-
grave
pour-
or something?
No, just like wherever you are outside.
That
just
seems
pour
like
one
a
out.
weird thing.
It's
to
like
do.
it's like if dudes are like, you know, like they're drinking outside or something, be like, yo, pour one out for my homie, and they pour one.
Is it only for like a person who's passed?
Yeah. You never heard that?
No.
That's because you ain't from the hood, son.
I'm gonna like look that up after this. I think.
Look it up, man. Give it a Google search. Proper.
Isn't that disrespectful
What do you mean?
to pour one out for them?
No, it's like the most respectful thing you can do. What are you talking
Does
about?
water count
I
or
mean,
just alcohol?
I've never really like done research as to what beverage is required to pour when you pour one out for the homies. Ask the homies. I don't know, man.
Guys, what kind of beverage?
This is an
I don't get
F1
it.
podcast.
Sorry,
God.
yeah.
God damn it.
Tangential.
Off topic. Jeez.
Daniel Ricciardo from the McLaren was
From the McLaren,
The
or
McLaren?
McLaren?
the McLaren.
Do you also use the Facebook or
I don't use the Facebook. I don't have the
the
Facebook.
McLaren?
But no, Daniel was unremarkable.
Yeah.
Not extraordinary.
I feel like anyone who's new to a team has to kind of get a bit of a free pass. Like
That's like 80% of the board.
it's yeah, but I mean, which is fair, right? Because like they do need time for development and everything else, and like you know, having a new driver and a new car, it's one thing to like run practice and then quali, and then it's another thing to actually have the car in a race
Yeah.
and like get through racing and then pit stops
Yeah.
and like tire strategy and all that kind of stuff. Like it takes, you know, it probably takes some getting used to a certain extent, obviously, right?
Yeah. And on that note, one person who was, okay, before I get into the exceptional person, like my, I think, MVP secondary to Max Verstappen of Bahrain, I think we need to talk about Yuki. Tsunoda.
Yuki Tsunoda was
Exceptional.
he was really interesting at that race for damn sure.
His racing strategy is aggressive.
Yeah.
A little like twerky, like or like jerky.
That's an interesting. That's an interesting. That's an interesting
Jerky.
use of words.
Jerky.
You know,
Jerky.
calling the driver kind of torquey.
No. Like.
All right.
Like, I just feel like he is aggressive. Which I'm not mad about. He's an exceptional driver. I think he's
Yeah.
someone definitely to watch. He was in the points, right? He actually got points in Bahrain. I can't remember where he ended up. Let's take a look here. 9th, above Stroll.
Yeah, that's pretty damn. I mean, clearly he's like a talented kid.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like he knows how to drive.
But my most exceptional. Do you know who I'm about to talk about?
The
Mexican.
The AlphaTauris have always been like really fast cars. Like they have potential there, for
Yeah,
sure.
Pierre messed up though. We won't even talk about Pierre. Pierre came in like, did he? No, he was the one who DNF'd, right?
Pierre Gasly.
He did not
Did he?
finish. He didn't
Yeah,
like
his
knock
front
out. Yeah.
no, his front wing. They didn't put him back out, did they? After that, something. Yeah, he went over. I think he went over a curb, and it went underneath him, and that was kind of it for him.
I actually just think he was so far behind because of the damage that he didn't finish. I don't think it actually was that he like
Yeah.
whatevered out.
I guess they were just kind of like, there's
What's
no
the
point
point?
in putting the car back out in that condition and having him that far out. Which I
Yeah.
think it's like first race of the season, like, you know, it happens, whatever. Like,
But he's killing it today. P1, you know, he's got.
yeah.
But I mean, again, this is just practice. Like nobody really cares.
Yeah, so-
Leclerc has yet to come out.
Yeah, who knows what's going
what's
on
going on with
there.
him?
This is only P1 though. We'll
Right.
see, you know, we still have P2 and P3.
But my
You know.
my point of excitement, aside from like what you see with oh my God, Lewis Hamilton, oh my God, Max Verstappen,
That's not me,
is
that's you.
like Perez was so exceptional. Sergio Perez.
Sergio Perez.
He does this all the time. He goes
I like his
from
name.
the last to through the midfield to 5th place. I mean, he almost didn't start the race.
Yeah, he had, so Sergio Perez had, well, I can't speak. Sergio Perez had some weird issue with his car. I didn't read too much about what was actually wrong, but I think the car like stalled out or something, or something happened, and he had to get out of the formation lap, and kind of because his car just stopped, and he had to like restart the like reignite the car. What do you call it? Like restart up the car, and because of that, he had to start from the pit lane. So
Well, he had the foresight to not let them push him.
yeah, because then it would have disqualified him then, right?
That is a seasoned driver. You look at somebody like Russell or
Yeah.
or Ocon, I mean, whatever, or even like some of, I don't even know if, I actually know, I think Red Bull, so the interesting story behind this is Red Bull wasn't surprised. You didn't see anybody from the pit lane coming out being like, oh my God, we gotta get, Perez. They knew. So there was something that had been going on electrically or software related or something with that car that Red Bull was aware of, because that was the big discussion. Why did nobody come running out? So Perez had the foresight to not let them push his car, because otherwise he wouldn't have been able to start.
I mean, I have a feeling that it's always, I think if that happens in any case, I think their first thing is kind of to try to solve the like car issue without people pushing it if they can. You know what I mean? So like, I mean, it was good foresight on his part, in terms of, not having them push him. But yeah, like he started from the pit lane and he ended the race in 5th, which is
Insane.
insane.
That wasn't like one of those people that like, there were a bunch of like, I mean, there were some like yellow flags, there was like some runoff, whatever, but like from the pit lane
Yeah.
through the mess that was Mazepin,
Yeah.
through the mess that was Stroll and Ocon, through the mess that was like, I don't know how many like pit stops, just through all of that, he made it to 5th.
Yeah, that's pretty insane.
And when people tell me, like I had somebody today who was like, well, you know, why doesn't Albon have a seat? Actually, I've heard this like 2-3 times this week. Well, why doesn't Albon have a seat for next year? This is why, because you find a seasoned driver who's able to get through from 20th to 5th.
Yeah.
Albeit 15, or I guess 16th if you think about all the DNFs, but to 5th, that's 11 places.
Albon just could never put it together. Like
think it was a fluke.
he's young. Yeah, I mean the first few races he did all right. Wow, Max Verstappen going way off the
Into
track.
the gravel.
Way off the track there.
Ooh.
Yeah, Albon could just not put it together. And like it is what it is. Like the kid will get more experience and he'll probably, you know, come back.
He's a reserve driver.
Maybe. Like we'll see, right? I'm sure Red Bull's interested in developing him and like bringing him back to the team, but like we'll see what happens at that point. But yeah, I mean, Perez going from pit lane to 5th is like that's
Remarkable.
insane. Like if the guy, and that's why I'm interested to watch this race, because if he can do that and make it to 5th, although like maybe the argument could be made that it's like a Red Bull car is faster than the other 15 cars in general. So it's like he should be able to pass all of them even from a last place perspective.
Right.
Because at least the last 10 cars he could move past fairly easily. And then the next 5, it's like, okay, yeah, you need a little bit of skill to do that. But given the car that he's in, like, I mean, we'll see. Because it's like, let's say he qualifies and he qualifies in 5th and he just holds that place the entire race. That could be entirely possible as well.
He should be getting 3rd or 4th consistently from a Red Bull standpoint because that's where they want to see him.
Yeah.
3rd, 4th, or above. So 4 and above because that's what puts them in a point of competition.
Yeah.
But like, I think that's not a fair assessment because you've got somebody like Daniel Ricciardo who's got a Mercedes engine, who's a first-time driver from McLaren, and then you've got Sergio Perez.
But he's not driving a Red Bull. He's driving a McLaren.
But
like there's just, you can't compare them. McLarens are not as fast as the Red Bulls. That's like not, you know.
I mean,
maybe on some days, but consistently, I don't think so.
I guess we'll see after the next race.
You know.
Because now they have the Mercedes engine.
Yeah.
I mean
they had it last race too.
But
Lando Norris,
Lando
Norris
beat
placed for
Perez.
4th. That's true. But Perez again started from the pit lane. That's the thing, is like it's not about.
But the midfield comes with all of its other difficulties, which is like maintaining distance, maintaining space, maintaining going through turns together.
But you get the benefit of getting slipstreams.
Like you.
You are yelling at me, dude. It's like kind of like, jeez, bro.
I need to take a moment. I need to relax.
Yelling at me on the
I'm
pod,
getting very
bruh.
worked up.
Jeez. No, it's all good. No, but like when you're working your way through a race, you get the benefit of DRS. You get the benefit of slipstreams as well. I'm not saying like I think Perez definitely has skill. I just think we don't have enough information to make a call to see how he'll do, because you got to keep in mind the guys that are like top 4, top 5 are generally like, for the most part, when it's Mercedes and when it's Red Bulls and whatnot, they're generally like going fast. And the rest of because you know sometimes races end and like the next guy after Hamilton or the top 3 is like a minute behind or something like that. Like that happens all the time, right?
I think
so like I think, you know, we'll see how he does, because it's not saying like if they had another 20 laps would he pass everybody else. I don't know.
I know,
right?
I'm cautiously optimistic. I mean, we can only go off of what we have so far, which is one race in this year. And we'll just have to see where it goes. Because honestly, like I have high hopes for Perez.
Yeah.
But you're right. Like with development, with software development, with just kind of everything. With driver development, with, I don't know, just circumstances. Like I'm sure things are going to change. But I will say this. He definitely is the better of the two, and I will stick by that. After the first race, I find it very hard to say that Albon still deserved to be the second driver for Red Bull. I just don't believe that. I'm okay with saying that openly.
What do you mean the secondary in the second seat?
Yes,
You
like
don't think...
I do not believe that Albon deserved
I
to
don't,
be in the
I
second
don't,
seat.
You know the thing I've noticed about Red Bull, and they said this in a previous thing. I think they said it in Drive to Survive season 1 actually, or season 2. One of them, they said that Red Bull really likes
Pulling the trigger.
young drivers.
Oh.
Like they really like having younger people come in to represent their brand. So, I mean, I don't know what the justification was to have Albon in the first place. Like, because even you look at his track record from before, like, he was moderately impressive. Like, he did okay, but he didn't have like the most extensive resume. And then they threw him into F1, and he showed some flashes of brilliance here and there. But then it was kind of a
2020 was plateau downward drift.
But I think if, you know, they throw Perez into the car and he starts performing how they expect a driver to perform in that car, you know, maybe they'll rethink their driver strategy after that.
Perez is definitely seasoned. He's shown that he can make it from the pit lane up to points, up to almost to podium, for God's sake. You know?
He was very close.
And that was with not Red Bull. So, you know, last year he was with
So he's shown, if the thing is, that's a sign of a good driver too.
Yeah.
If they can do it in different cars,
yes,
you know they got the juice.
Put him in a Mercedes and see what happens.
Yeah. I mean, everyone makes that argument all the time.
Yeah.
But Perez was he's interesting. I like him this season.
Okay, let's get to as we speak about Mercedes, Bottas comes to the top. Bottas was unacceptable. I feel like he was just I didn't think that he did a great job. I think he just has a Mercedes engine, and yes, he has a lot of experience behind him, but I think third was stretch for him, to be honest. I was expecting lower, just the way he was driving, and I think his pit stop went poorly, right? He was the one who had the 11-second pit stop, right?
Yeah, remember we talked about that?
Oh, yeah.
Remember I was talking to you about that? So we were talking about how I was like, I wonder if subconsciously, and this goes both ways, I wonder if subconsciously if Mercedes does kind of sabotage their secondary driver, in this case Bottas, and subconsciously they're a little more sharper when they do pit stops for Lewis Hamilton.
I would like to clarify that. I think sabotage is intentional and conscious.
I said unconscious sabotage.
I know, I think that doesn't exist.
It can exist if they just don't care as much about...
Yeah. They just aren't on it as much when it comes
what's
to
the
Lewis.
level? Because that's what I was saying, is when Lewis comes into the pits, it's we need his pit stop to and this was what I was saying before, is how many times have they screwed up a Lewis Hamilton pit stop?
Yeah.
How
as
often
many
does
times as I screw up Bottas, Vettel, and Lewis.
How often does that happen? I don't think it's... I can't even remember the last time it happened.
Lewis?
But Bottas, yeah. But Bottas, they always screw up his...
Yeah.
I remember every time this guy has some messed up pit stop. But Lewis Hamilton, they're double, triple, quadruple checking the tires.
Everything,
making sure that, maybe hit the gun a little bit, make sure it's good to go. I don't know if they do that with Bottas. And it's not I'm they don't care about Bottas, but I think there's a lot more, there's a lot more focus when Lewis comes into the pit versus Bottas, because it's how else? It's the same pit team, right?
Bottas is mowing the lawn right now.
How do you explain that, right? How do you explain a screwed up pit stop? It's the same team.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So sorry, I think the camera just stopped here. But I mean, how do you explain that?
You can't. You just you wonder if that's what. Oh, track hazard.
Somebody's... Oh, God, look at that tire. Who is that? Who is that? Sorry, we just got somebody off the track here.
In P1.
Let's just keep. I guess let's just keep it going in terms
Yeah.
of, and we'll see what's the situation here.
Red flagging it.
So we're watching. I think there was a collision.
Oh God!
So we're
there's
watching P1 right now, and there is there's a Red Bull and an Alpine that look like they might have
made
collided.
contact, but there's so
Everybody
much
is
distance.
fine, but they red flagged the session.
Oh,
There's
that tire's gone.
there's a tire missing off the Red Bull.
No, it's not missing. It's scooched in. I think you
Yeah.
couldn't see it.
I think that's Verstappen.
I think that looks like Verstappen.
Yeah. Damn, we're gonna have to see what happened there. Is it?
Oh,
it
that's
Checo?
Checo.
Oh yeah, you see the Mexican
Oh,
flag. He's
yeah.
got a sick helmet, man. Damn, that sucks.
Corner's like thinking of next
but-
year's driver already. Maybe Albon was good.
Oh jeez, what happened? Oh,
that's not his fault.
Tire failure. It looks
Yeah,
like.
that's not his fault. Ooh, the rim is messed up, and then of course.
Then did he swing back out?
No, I think he hit.
Oh, that's just a straight up tire failure.
that's
I
just-
think
you
at
know,
that
he
point.
just gets all of these horrific
He's having bad
failures.
luck. Yeah.
Do you think that it has anything to do with his driving, or do you think it's just? I mean, when you turn, your tire shouldn't disintegrate like that. So no, I don't think that was him.
I mean,
Look,
it's
he's
a
gonna
car.
Go over and check
the
in on
car
that person.
the car should be able to sustain like the G4. Like, you know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
an F1 car. Like
Is
this
that
is what they
Ocon?
do. You know?
He's
not
tall.
sure.
Looks like Ocon.
I'm not
I
sure.
think Fernando Alonso's shorter. Do you want to talk about their heights and their faces again? The rugged. For Carlos is like this. Ooh.
Ocon is like in Ricardo territory.
Yeah, he's a little dopey.
It's Ocon. Yeah.
Oh,
He's a little dopey.
a little dopey. I don't like Ocon. And you know what? Perez
I
doesn't
think
like
he's got a
Ocon.
bad attitude. You know?
I love when they start picking stuff up. They that was something else. Like when they're on the track for no reason, like these safety people, I'm like, why?
It's red flag though. They
I
can
know.
get out there.
No, I know. So we're basically red flagged for right now.
Yeah.
The time just keeps jumping back and forth.
Yeah, so like Mercedes, I guess.
That's, I guess, the obvious part about Bahrain,
What?
Mercedes and Max, most specifically Lewis.
No,
and
what
Max.
were we talking about before with Mercedes?
Oh, versus,
With Bottas?
yeah, with Bottas.
Yeah. The Bottas conversation is like an interesting one because like, you know how like certain fighters, I remember this when I was like, you know, when I was telling you about how like Rogan had that conversation with Shab about like, bro, can you beat this guy?
Yeah.
Like you're fighting, can you beat this? Like, can you beat the number one heavyweight guy?
And he was like, no.
And he's like, I got a pretty good shot. And he's like, really? Because like, I think you get messed up. Like, I think you wouldn't stand a chance.
Right.
And I think with Bottas, it's kind of the same thing. It's like, bro, like, yes, like he's very talented and he's in a Mercedes, but it's like, can you beat, on any given Sunday, can you beat Lewis Hamilton?
No,
Like, can you beat Lewis Hamilton?
not at all.
In 10 races, like, will you
Not
will
at
you
all.
beat him? It's like, probably not. It's probably not in the cards for you. So it's like, as long as Bottas is happy, like, I know the guy wants to win, but it's like, if you're just happy being, like, you know, second place.
He's not, though.
If you're happy being
He
the
gets
bridesmaid,
angry.
not being the
Not
bride,
being a bride. He's only
just
ever
chill,
bride.
man.
That guy was like hugging.
Just hold your flowers, just stand up and just chill.
Yeah.
Unless-
But he resents it. He talks about it
You know?
openly. Like, unless he is ahead of Hamilton, you don't see a smile on his face post-race at all. Both Alpine and Red Bull are just like, ah, dang, we gotta like do a lot of work tonight before quali.
Yeah, they're both looking
They're
at
just
it.
like, ah, shoot.
They're like, how do we clean this up?
I love when they do Fugia on the road.
But I mean, like it kind of is what it is.
It is what it is, you know, and that brings up a very interesting point that if Hamilton, we'll talk about this. You know what? Let's just talk about it.
Well, what
If-
else do we have to go over from the previous race? Is
I
that
mean,
pretty much it? Did we cover it?
Max
top to
literally
bottom?
on.
Oh my God! How did
Hamilton's
how did we not discuss that right now?
I
We're
know.
just about like, oh, let's go talk about other things. Yeah, that battle at the end between
At the end?
Lewis Hamilton and
What are you talking about at the
well,
end?
yeah, not really at the end, but like
Throughout the
kind of-
entire race.
Yeah, throughout the race. But the end was really kind of when the back and forth happened. But yeah, like Verstappen was definitely giving Lewis a run for his money the entire race. But actually, no. So he was winning. He was first, right?
Max.
He qualified on pole. So he was like leading the race, and then Mercedes got them with the undercut with the tire strategy, which put Lewis ahead. And then Verstappen battled back. I think Mercedes I think Red Bull definitely had the faster car.
They had pace.
For that race. They definitely had a faster car. But, so what ended up happening was like they were racing and Verstappen overtook Hamilton, but during the overtake, he was off of the track and he was forced to give the place back and never regained it after that, given the amount of laps they had left.
That was like in the late 50s. It was like 52, 53, something like that. The issue I have, and this was the point of contention that I think Max had, was why did he give it back so quickly? Take the penalty. I get it. He wouldn't have had 5 seconds. I understand that.
Yeah.
So basically what I'm saying is that like Max brought up, well, why did I just immediately have to give the position back? Let them give me a penalty afterwards.
Yeah.
And just tell me to keep racing. Maybe I could have kept some distance and still gotten first. Give me a chance to try. But he like immediately gave it back and was unable to regain since then. And it wasn't meant to be, but like, that's my issue.
Yeah.
And there was that area of track limit issues. Remember that area that they were like, yeah, you guys can all run wide. You guys can run wide. But then like, so Lewis was doing it the entire time. And then, so Red Bull finally told Max that he could run wide there too.
So they let you go off the track. They let you go off track limits as long as it doesn't provide you an advantage over another driver. So you can do it during a race, but if you do it while passing to gain and like they're saying if you pass somebody
No, you're right.
and go off the track, that's not allowed. But going off track in general is okay.
No, I'm talking about two separate things. So I'm talking about, yes, the reason that Max had to give the place back was completely acceptable.
Yeah.
Like that was a completely acceptable thing. But what I'm talking about was, remember there was an area that was on the track, I can't remember what turn it was, where Lewis kept going wide, and in qualification, you weren't allowed to do that. You got your time deleted if you did that. So Lewis kept doing it in the actual race on Sunday.
Yeah.
And then he wasn't told off. So then Red Bull told Max that he could do it. And he goes, I thought we couldn't do that. But then when Max started doing it, then they both got told they couldn't do that. Remember?
Yeah.
Do you remember hearing that?
Yeah, because it was like, and maybe that's to that point I was making before. I was like, maybe the FIA gives. I'm not even gonna have that discussion, man. I know people are gonna like give me crap.
Well,
for
no,
it.
because then
They give like Lewis a little bit. I was gonna say maybe the FIA gives Lewis a little bit of leeway, but
they don't. Because remember that whole thing with like the yellow flag on the entry or starting from.
Yeah, no, but that was blatant. There's a difference between blatant.
He got penalized hard for
He
that.
did, but they have to, in that because it's a blatant like disregard of a hard and fast rule. But like for example, how do you explain him going off track limits?
Really doesn't like Lewis.
How do you? I don't. It's not that I don't like Lewis. I love Lewis. He's great. I'm just like, how do you explain?
He's not gonna see this. You don't like him. We get it.
I'm just putting my tinfoil. Let me just put my tinfoil hat on.
Sir Lewis. What does that mean?
It means tinfoil conspiracy theorist. Let me just put my tinfoil hat on.
And pour one out. You're speaking a different English.
Dude, I speak regular English. Maybe you need to just start speaking my English. Let me just like I'm just speculating here. Like, how else do you explain if Hamilton's going off track limits and then they don't say anything, but then when another driver does it, all of a sudden it's like, okay, they correct them both. Like, the only thing I can think of is maybe the FIA is giving him more wiggle room because he is the LeBron James of F1.
Yeah.
Like what other explanation is there really?
I just feel like he does get a little it was interesting because I think
favoritism.
Crofty was
everybody likes the best kid in class, right?
Crofty said something. No, they don't. All the kids pick on him.
No, all the teachers do, right?
I know. I was
Lewis
there.
Hamilton's that little nerd who sits at the front and takes all the notes.
I feel personally attacked.
I
feel personally attacked by that
Nothing's
statement.
why. What's wrong with nerds, man, who take notes? I was one of them. I wasn't.
No, you weren't.
You were, though.
I was.
That's why you feel
Still
personally
got him. Stokes
It's another
the
it's
sleigh.
another characteristic of a nerd. Keep your notes from like high school.
I need my glasses. Push up. But no, I think Max did a great job of showing that he really like is able to push it.
Yeah.
And I'm excited to see what he has to offer in qualification tomorrow.
Yeah.
Quali.
Yeah.
But then let's go to the news of the rumor mill.
Yeah, so I was
Is that a tinfoil hat?
I was no, that's not tinfoil hat.
I don't get it.
Do you know what tinfoil hat people are, man?
No, I'm thinking of like the Louis or the.
They make, when
Alice
you
in
like
Wonderland?
believe in aliens and stuff, and you wear a little tinfoil hat so the aliens can't read your thoughts. Wasn't all looking at me weird, man? You don't. So
I've
weird.
honestly never heard of
Tinfoil hat. It's like tinfoil hat is like an expression for people who believe in conspiracy theories.
Tinfoil hat. Okay.
So
all
if
right.
you want,
I'm gonna look that up today. That and pouring one out. I honestly
Yeah.
have never heard of that before. I thought you were making the. Why? Like, is it a tinfoil hat with like the like the
no,
antennae?
you make a hat out of tinfoil.
But do they have
You
like
go into your
antennas?
kitchen and make a hat out of tinfoil,
And
you're
that
like,
so the aliens can't
no,
read your
the
brain.
aliens can't read my mind and mind
Do
control
people
me.
do that?
I don't know, but it's like one of those things where it's like,
Okay, we'll bookmark that.
it's
Yeah.
like having like a I don't know, like living off the grid or having like a bunker that's completely sealed off from all
love that
airwaves
show.
and stuff like that. Yeah, it's like
Remember the
but
extreme bunker people with the jars
no,
of stuff?
it was the doomsday.
Yeah, doomsday.
preppers.
That was so cool to watch.
Those the people who prep for doomsday.
I wonder
they got
how
these
they did during
underground.
COVID.
Oh my God, COVID was probably like
Their best.
They were just like, this is why we did this.
They're living their best life.
Yeah, they're like this.
They
is
have like pickled jars of stuff. We need to check
Yeah.
in on doomsday
preppers.
people
I wonder
during
if there's.
COVID.
I wonder if there's a doomsday preppers COVID edition.
No, I'm sure that all the
Those
doomsday
people probably freak.
Oh my God,
out.
I wanna look into that. That's fine. All of that
Back to
aside.
F1. What's
so
wrong
the
with
rumor
us?
mill, the rumor mill, not the tinfoil people.
So I was reading an article, getting back onto it. So the state of a lot of the teams right now, more notably Lewis Hamilton, is that his contract is just for 1 year. And he's getting older, and there has been talks of the fact that he may not be racing for too many more years in the future. Like, obviously, no one really knows the specifics, but they're
I
talking
don't even
about.
think Lewis knows the specifics.
He probably has a pretty decent idea, but he's not going to talk to anybody about it. But no one obviously knows the specifics, but it seems like Lewis Hamilton makes a ton of money. Like, he does not need to be racing in F1 longer than he wants to be.
Yeah.
So
And he's got sponsorships, and he's got brands, and he's a brand ambassador.
Yeah.
Like, he's got money.
money is not an issue for Lewis.
Which is why I don't think he's doing this right now for the money.
But well, I think right now he's doing what he's doing for legacy. I think he
Yep.
wants to break records and then leave. And obviously he wants to leave on top as well before I think the new regulations come into place.
That's what I was gonna say.
Which we'll talk about. But the thing that I was reading
Don't
about.
take my notes.
No, I'll leave it. I'll let you. You can talk about that as long as you want. But the thing that I was reading is they're talking about like in the event that Hamilton does not re-sign because he's only on a 1-year contract, if he doesn't re-sign for 2022, is it?
Yep.
His contract will run out, and also will Max Verstappen's contract. I believe he's only signed for until
Also
2022,
will.
and then also George Russell.
Yep.
So what do you think about all that?
Okay, so I think a couple of things. I think that Lewis Hamilton does not want to come back for the market budget restrictions that are going to be taking place because he knows that the growth of the car has reached a certain status.
It's going to be stagnated.
It
a
is going to
little
be
bit.
stagnated for
Yeah.
quite some time.
Yeah.
Two, I think that the budget cuts are going to cause
Your boy Science in
I'm
the
saying.
Ferrari 117.
come on, science, get it together. So I like their new car, by the way. I like the matte. Looks nice.
Yeah, I like the.
This is going to be big for Ferrari.
We'll see how
Imola.
they come back Yeah, we'll see.
So, because Italy, right? Imola.
Yeah.
So that, and I think he doesn't want to be reducing like his costs because he's like, I've raced for this much money before. Why
Oh,
the heck?
I don't think they're going to take it out of his pay. If he were to stay, I don't think they're going to take the price reduction out of his pay.
Okay, I think that's terrible. I could
That's
use other
Hamilton,
choice
man.
words.
I think he's
There
going to be
are
like, I'm out.
people who are in a team with. Okay, you know what? We're not even going to touch that. If you like, I hope that that's not the case. That's really terrible if it was, but fine. I truly think that Bottas is going to stay on because he's got a contract, right? I think that if they were going to take anyone, they would take Russell.
Yeah, I mean,
Because
yeah.
Verstappen is a. I don't know if Verstappen is going to. I don't know if he would ever be extended into the Mercedes family because they have George Russell as a what is it, a junior driver? He's like in their program.
He's in the Mercedes development program.
Yeah, it just makes them sound like such children when you say that they're in the development program. It's like you infant, like you're you're developing through this program. I just think that they're going to take Russell because I think his potential for growth, he hasn't been in a rigid team. He's been in Williams. To take Max and put him in Mercedes, I think is more work than Russell in a Mercedes. Unpopular opinion.
I don't think you're wrong. I think they would definitely bring Russell, but I think they would also very much want to bring Verstappen because Verstappen has like the thing with Verstappen is I feel like he's not as much loyal to his team as he is loyal to a fast car. And I think
Yes.
because even when you see interviews and stuff with Verstappen, he's not really like all friendly and like yeah, he is like when he wins and stuff, he's like celebrating with the teams and everything. But when you just see his demeanor, he's very much about oh, the car was fast and the car felt good. Like he's talking about the car, not necessarily like the team.
The team.
So it's in his best interest. Like I think it's in his best interest to go to Mercedes. And I think, and what does Mercedes want? They want to win.
The fastest driver.
Yeah, they want to win races, right? They want to be on the top of the podium. So I think it's also in their best interest, if Verstappen is available, to bring him over to Mercedes. So
then,
I think it's going to be like very mutually beneficial.
But then what will they, oh, of course, Williams is in the gravel. What will happen then is, what could happen is a Perez issue, what I like to call the Perez conundrum, where...
Is that what you like to call it?
I do. I just made that up. So remember like when Perez had like an extra, I don't know, X number of years left on his contract?
Yeah.
And he ended up having to get paid that. Obviously, it was like a penalty basically for them breaking his contract. That's why he became like an open driver. I don't even know how Williams ended up in the gravel.
Williams just took a right turn.
They just
like out of the track.
he was going like this, and he was just like into the gravel. Is that Latifi? I hope that's not Russell because that just doesn't. Oh, it is. It's Latifi. That doesn't like.
Watch yourself. He's Canadian.
And the state of your country. Anyways.
Which we're not going to talk about.
So what I would say, you get mad at me for singing. What I would say is this. If Vettel, or I keep saying Vettel when I mean Bottas. If Valtteri Bottas was no longer with Mercedes because they did something where they broke his contract, which I'm not sure that they would do that. I doubt very much that Valtteri would stay in Formula One because I don't think he would ever want to downgrade. I think then Max and Russell would be an interesting team. But you know what? Let's just see how long Valtteri's.
I don't think Valtteri would leave Formula One. The guy's not in such a, quite honestly, like optimal position where he could just be like, yeah, I'm not going to do F1 anymore. Like,
Okay.
quite honestly, I think just career-wise and job-wise, like he'd need to stay regardless.
Who?
Valtteri, he's not just like, yeah, I don't feel like racing. I'm just gonna, like, I think honestly he may welcome like a nice change because he's not going to be like, I highly doubt that if Mercedes does make a switch up, I highly doubt that they're gonna keep like either one of the drivers. You know, I think if Lewis
So-
leaves, they're going to release Bottas as well and then get new blood in. They're going to throw in Russell. Russell is guaranteed pretty much a seat. You know, they've even said it like multiple times that he's going to like get that seat once it becomes available. The only question is who's the number 2 driver? And I think we are going to see super interesting things come next year.
So interesting.
Like super interesting things.
I agree. Super interesting. Bottas only extended his contract for this year.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's interesting.
Yeah.
That brings in a whole, sorry, poking you. I'm very aggressive today. That brings in like a whole other
Dynamic.
level to this mystery.
Maybe, I mean, you don't know what he was offered though. He
Oh my
could have
God,
just been offered
Horner
the 1
is
year.
going to be so upset.
You know?
Christian Horner will be so sad. He will cry.
I mean, they could offer Verstappen more money, you
But
know,
money
and try to
doesn't-
keep him.
Verstappen
No,
doesn't care about
but,
money.
Yeah, but what else are they going to do, right? That's all they got.
Yeah,
It's
that's
like
all they got.
They can either develop a sick car or they can give the guy more money to try to keep
Christian
him
Horner's
there, right?
Gonna cry. It's gonna be sad.
No, I think you never know who's going to shuffle around, who's going to go where. Like, you don't know, right?
But honestly, I think that
How long is Daniel Ricciardo in McLaren?
I know,
You
right?
never know, right? Like,
I mean, he's hippity hopped from Red Bull to Alpine.
and
to
you know, if
McLaren.
you throw on your tinfoil hat,
Yep. He could
the
go back to
reason
Red Bull.
the reason he left Red Bull was because of Verstappen.
So
If
he could go back to Red
Verstappen-
Bull. F1, ladies
You
and
know what I
gentlemen.
mean?
It's all full circle.
So
I do miss seeing Daniel Ricciardo in a
he put up numbers, yo,
Red Bull. In a Red Bull, yeah.
in Red Bull. So I mean,
Ugh.
things could shuffle like
The Australian
crazy.
and the Mexican together. You know what?
Yeah.
That's an interesting thought, though. That's an interesting thought. To be honest, that's a really interesting thought. Yeah, Valtteri would be gone. Hamilton would be gone. You know, and it's gonna take at least a decade for Hamilton to be dethroned, if not more, because if he wins this year, he'll be an eighth. How do you say that? Like an eight-time
World champion.
world champion. That just
Yeah.
sounds weird. 8-time world champion.
Yeah.
So it'll take at least
Which he'll probably get.
9 years for someone to dethrone him, right?
Yes.
And so, I mean, think about it. Is it likely that one person, with all the changes that are made, is going to win the next 9 years in a row? It's unlikely.
Yeah.
However, it's possible.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, like, it's going to take a good decade for him to be dethroned. And by that time, I don't know if he's really going to care.
We may see it in our lifetime, but it would surprise me. You know, it would surprise
With the
me.
budget cuts, I doubt very much that we're going to be seeing
Well, they're trying to make it Formula One more
fair.
competitive.
But that fair and competitive. So that's what I'm saying. I
Yeah.
think it would be uncommon for us to see the same winner every year.
He was kind of right place, right time. Lewis
Yeah.
Hamilton. He's talented. Like all the stars aligned for him, and
Like that book.
he was able to shatter the records.
Give your line from the book that you always give about
Outliers.
people like him.
Yeah, it's from Outliers by Malcolm Gladwell. So if anyone's ever read that book, like he talks about how there's the 10,000 hour rule, obviously, which comes from that book, but he talks about how like the people who are like outliers in our society, like they got to those positions because every single thing in their life like lined up perfectly for them to pursue where they are. Like, for example, they talked about like Bill Gates and how as a kid he happened to go to a school that had like gave him access to like a computer lab where he was able to like learn about computers and develop his skills. So it's kind of the same thing with Lewis Hamilton. Like this era of F1 with the skills that he had, like going from like just like having no money, so he develops the work ethic and the grit,
being the only black,
facing
like,
all that
black driver.
adversity, being like a black driver, and then coming into a team that is like literally on the upswing and like driving like crazy and like developing his skills in Formula One and being in the era of like Mercedes when they had the best car
So you
and
admit it.
smashing all those
He's
records.
skilled.
Of course he's skilled.
There you go.
There's no question about that. The guy is definitely skilled. But the car is also the
Speaking
best
of which.
F1 car we've ever seen. Right? So, I mean, yeah, it'll be interesting to see what the next season really does bring.
But I mean, before the next season, let's talk about the next race. Look at Bottas,
Hamilton, Verstappen.
No, oh yeah, Hamilton, Verstappen, Leclerc.
Leclerc, Gasly, Sainz. Sorry, you can look at it over
Yeah.
here. It's a little
Bloody.
pixelated. Yeah, so this is the end of P1 that we're watching.
Well, which is
And
fine.
I think we're gonna wrap soon anyway, but
I mean, okay, so what, I guess we didn't really like take a look as much. I need to still figure out what happened with Sergio Perez, and I think it was Fernando who went off. Doesn't really matter as much, but what are your predictions for Imola?
I mean, I don't like doing like the exact, here, I'm just gonna throw this back on the TV. I don't like doing the exact like one, like who's P1, who's P2, because like I was doing that before and I wasn't, there's no point of that because I find it funner to just do more fun.
More fun, thank you.
More fun to just predict like who's gonna end up like top 5 kind of thing. But
In the wall we go.
yeah, Haas is in the wall again.
Haas just can't seem to not put it in the wall. Just keep it on the track.
Yeah, I don't know what's happening.
Although I'm not a Formula One driver and I don't really know how hard this is, but is that Mick or is that Mazepin? I just see flags.
I think it's Mazepin.
Oh my God, what did we miss?
The session is stopped. Maybe they'll replay it. But sorry, what were you saying?
We were saying about our predictions, and you said you don't like to do the team.
I don't like to predict like the actual positions, but I think it's definitely going to be. All right, I'm gonna swing for the fences. I'm gonna say like top 5 in no particular order is gonna be Hamilton, Verstappen, Sainz, Bottas, Perez. Is that?
Yeah.
Maybe I should do 6.
No, you only get 5.
Because then you can only do 2 teams on
Who
like
would be your
one.
6th? Say it. Say it.
Lando.
Put my little butt up
Put some
there.
respect on his name.
Put some my little
Put
butt.
some respect on Lando's name.
Yeah. So
you don't even know that reference. Do
I
you?
don't know. Tinfoil, pour it out. I don't know. I have so much to learn. I already worked today. I already learned today.
If you guys know that, if you guys know any of the references, just like comment or send me a message.
Or tell me so that I can learn.
All right, we got, I guess looking at P1 here, we got Bottas, Hamilton, Verstappen in terms of speeds, Leclerc, Gasly, Sainz, Alonso, Stroll, Latifi, and Ricciardo, top 10.
Duh.
So, I'm going to stick with Hamilton,
Norris.
Hamilton, Verstappen, Sainz,
Excuse me.
Bottas,
I'm hungry.
Perez, I think.
So I would like to say, Hamilton. Okay, in no particular order. Hamilton, Verstappen, Norris,
Leclerc's
Sergio
quick
Perez.
too.
Nobody cares about Leclerc. Just kidding. I really like him. I think he's a great driver. He did really well last race too. He did way better than Sainz did. Do not give me the side look. So wait, where was I? So I think that, you know what? I think Hamilton, Bottas, Verstappen. I think they're going to be in some mixture of top 3. And then my 3, not swing for the fences, but I really think are going to do well are Norris, Perez, and I would agree Sainz, but I would put Norris in my top 3 of my second 3.
Norris in your top 3
onward.
of your second 3?
Yeah. So like I did 6. So I know like who's going to, like it's going to be some mixture of Hamilton, Bottas, Verstappen in the first 3, unless Bottas just royally screws up, which is what I always hope for, next to Hamilton screwing up. And then I'm going to put Lando, Carlos, and Perez in the other 3.
Okay.
But I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised if anything else happens. I want to see Ricciardo do well. I want to see Alonso do well. I want to see Pierre get his act together.
Yeah, I'm just interested to see how, because there are interesting teams out here right now. Like a lot of people are putting up big numbers. So I just want to see competition, and I think everyone who watches F1 really does, to be honest.
You know, Aston Martin got back up there too today. Alonso, he put up a time, thank God.
And again, this is just P1.
Right.
There's still a P2 and there's a P3 as well.
Tomorrow or
then
Sunday.
And then we get serious with quali. So
it's going to be interesting.
We'll see.
We'll see what happens. We might try doing this during qualification next time.
Yeah.
Let's see what happens.
We'll see how it goes.
I don't know. If because I don't know how much we really are gaining from practice, but maybe we could do this during quali. Although we get really loud towards the
thing is,
Q3.
I don't want to just, like I was mentioning this before, I don't want to just sit here, like, because if we're watching quali, we're watching it, and then it's like we're just like commenting on watching TV versus actually talking about things.
For the 3 people that probably watch this, which is Cam, myself, and one other person, let us know what you think. Because
Yeah.
I've been saying we should do it during qualification. I think it's super helpful, but I mean, obviously we got through an entire P1 and we still have more to talk about.
Yeah. So,
All right.
yeah. So thanks to everybody who's been listening and watching. Make sure you subscribe on YouTube or Spotify or Google Podcasts. Yeah, we're on a few different channels.
There's a Google podcast?
Well, like the podcast gets distributed on a whole bunch of different platforms, but you can find us on Spotify, F1 My Life. Go to my YouTube channel. You can watch the video version. You might already be watching it right now. So subscribe, comment, follow, and everything there. And also follow me on Instagram and check out my photography at Darkless Photography. You got any announcements?
I have no like professional announcements. Please come see me at the hospital if you need any help.
Yeah.
Stay safe.
If you guys have any GI questions, just you can ask them, and I'm sure Priya might. I mean, she's pretty busy. She's kind of got a job, so. Yeah, that was it. I hope you guys enjoyed. That was a shameless sponsorship. I hope you guys enjoyed, and send us some comments. Let us know what you think. Let us know if there's anything else you want us to talk about. And
let me know if anyone else believes in that tinfoil stuff that Cam was talking about. I'm honestly going to Google it. I think you're full of it.
Enjoy the race, and we'll catch you guys on the next one after Imola. And yeah, good job, bud.
Oh, I thought. Yeah.
Shake your hand.
Shake your hand. Good job.
Good job. Thank you.
Good job. All right, can we do this instead? I want to do this instead. Okay. That was awkward. Okay, bye.
Bye.